Tammy's Boy Podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only. John Carden is not a licensed therapist. He is just a friend.
Welcome on in, everybody. Thank you for coming to another episode of Tammy's Boy. We appreciate you for showing up and being here with us. We're going to do our best to entertain you. You know me at this point. I'm John Carden. I host this podcast. I had a crazy childhood, so I like talking to people about theirs. But before we get into it and before I introduce my guest, how about a few quick little beautiful words from my boy, Mr. Cole Garrett.
Tammy's kids, how the hell are we doing? We are back, baby. We are back. Full video is going to be available on YouTube and Spotify, as always. And the audio is going to be available on all the other podcast listening platforms. Also, guys, if you guys have a Tammy, you got a crazy individual, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, anyone who tormented you at some point in your life, email us, okay? Tell us those stories. You can email us at tammysboypodcast@gmail.com, and we'll read those stories on the air. And if the email is too complicated for you, you can just go ahead and comment down below. Anywhere, we'll read it. We need anything. Really, we do. Also, guys, we got a Patreon cooking right now, and we did some funny little words with our guest that we got on today. So if you want to see that, maybe go over and check out the Patreon, you know? Guys, I think that's enough out of me. John, tell the people who we got on the show today.
If somebody told me they had watched every episode of Tammy's Boy, and the only part that they had watched was Colt's intros, I would say, okay, I would get it. I would completely understand. And I'd be like, yeah, that's probably the best part of the show.
Gotta keep them in for that 90 seconds.
Yeah. It's
the algorithm.
It's the best 90 seconds in podcasting.
Thank you.
It is absolutely amazing.
You're doing great.
Thank you very much.
I love him. He was blushing yesterday.
Hey, how do you think you did with that?
That's for the Patreon. Go check out the Patreon if you want to know what that means.
Yeah. And that's how you podcast.
And that's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's also on the Patreon.
We got a professional. Introduce the lady, John. Introduce her.
Our guest is returning, coming back to Tammy's Boy. One of my favorites, man. I love her to death. It's Jaime-Lee Simmons, everybody.
Let's go.
What's up?
Let's go.
Gang.
It's my traumatic sister from a different mister.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, our child's line up so well.
I mean, it could be the same mister. I don't know what mister I came from, so.
Here. I assume my dad was my dad.
Yeah,
I assumed that too.
I think we all have to assume that. I mean, my dad's ash in my closet right now, so I don't know if I could check.
Yeah. When I was sad this week, my sister was like, "It's okay, Dad's here," and she pulled up a Ziploc bag, just a Ziploc bag, and I was like, "What is that?" She was like, "It's Dad."
Oh, I've been wanting to go on a pilgrimage for years to scatter my dad's ashes, and I haven't done it. And I think my dad's been dead since 2001. All right,
buddy.
Man,
you're talking about the Twin Towers.
I was doing 9/11. I know.
Died.
Your dad's pre 9/11, and you still haven't gone on a pilgrimage.
My dad died 40 days.
The Muslims have gone on their pilgrimage before you.
John concocts a story. He's like, he was on the plane. He knew what was happening.
My dad died 40 days after 9/11.
Broke his heart. Broke his heart.
To the minute. Almost exactly 40 days after 9/11.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I remember talking to my dad after 9/11, and it was the maddest I'd ever heard him because he was a Vietnam vet.
Okay, he was like, "We're done for. There's no hope."
Oh, he's like, "I want to go kill a bunch of."
He's like, "Gotta get me over there."
A bunch of words I can't say.
Oh no.
Yeah. He called them every. I didn't even know there were some words for Middle Eastern people that he used. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had never heard some of that, and he was angry.
Like which one?
Nope.
Oh my God.
Nope.
That just reminded me. There's this trend right now. This is totally off topic, but of kids showing their boomer parents Tim Dillon rants. And they get pissed. They're like, "This guy's a fucking asshole. What do you mean?"
And they can't, and he won't stop talking.
And
they can't get him to stop.
Handle it. They're like, it's just so enjoyable.
They're like giving their commentary back, but he's too quick. He keeps moving off to a new topic.
Tim's the best. He's the best too.
Goddamn,
he's so funny.
He
talks too fast.
I love watching him cover stuff that doesn't matter. Like I love watching him cover the Grammys or the Oscars or stuff like that. That's my favorite Tim Dillon. Is just this shitting on people mercilessly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. How about we start this off with a question? Since the last time that you were on, we've been concocting some new questions to kind of get into the psyche of our guest parents. Like less literal, this specific thing happened, but more who they are as people. Okay. So one of the questions we've come up with, and I think it's kind of become a fan favorite possibly. Let's say you're, young teenage. We say, 12 to 14, somewhere in that age range. Your mom brings home John.
I'm your new brother.
He's your new brother. John is now your adopted brother.
This has happened to me before. My mom adopted strays all the time.
It is your job to give John the debriefing on how the family dynamic is, what to expect, all the family members.
See, I know the last episode really well because I've listened to it a bunch of times. Basically, the question is, what do I need to do to earn steamas?
Ooh,
oh, yeah.
steamas.
I've been thinking about steamas for 8 months.
Steamas are fucking good, kid. Yeah, you gotta like kiss my mom's ass. My mom loves being called Miss Kelly.
Oh, I got
Don't
that.
refer to her anything other than Miss Kelly.
I'm from the South. You think I can't do Miss Kelly?
Yeah, she'd love that. She'd eat you up. She'd.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You want to be my new brother? You're about to.
You'd be my new dad.
Also be molested.
Oh, no.
No.
Again.
No. Yeah. So basically, if you hear the footsteps, you'll learn what the footsteps mean.
The weight of them?
The
like
weight
if they're
of
stomping,
them.
you're scared. If they're light.
Yeah, just always pretend you're sleeping.
Okay.
Yeah, always clean up. If mom's coming home and she's on the way, pick everything up.
Clean up the house.
Clean up the house. You will get beat. Welcome to the club.
Listen, this ain't my first beating.
Nothing you will ever do is right. And even when you are right, you're wrong.
I've been in that house.
Miss Kelly is always right.
Oh, man.
And
I'm pretty sure I've dated Miss
and
Kelly.
no closed doors. If you bring a person of the opposite sex into the house without permission and there's a closed door, my mom is going to go to their parents' house and beat the fuck out of their parents and make you watch. And then you'll never be able to hook up with that person again. So I would just stay clear of that.
So be gay.
Yeah. So find a
Nope,
car.
not allowed either.
Oh, no. No. I can't even fuck my bro.
My mom.
Don't look at me. I can't even fuck my bro.
No, she would encourage that. She encourages you exploring. But then if you told her she was gay, she'd be like, "You're not gay. You just like dick here and there." You know what I'm saying? I remember my sister came out and we were in Burlington, Vermont. I was at college and my sister's like, "Mom, like I like girls. Like I like eating pussy." And my mom's like, "You're not gay." And we're in Burlington, Vermont is very gay. And she's like walking down Church Street being like, "You're not fucking gay. Just because you eat pussy doesn't mean you're gay." Like, you know what I mean? Just
because you munch a little box doesn't mean you're a lesbo.
Yeah, so that's my mom.
I remember back in 1973.
And you might have to go pick her up cigarettes.
Oh, I've done that.
I refuse to do that.
You didn't do it growing up?
No, my Nana died of lung cancer, and my mom would always smoke cigarettes, and I would smell like cigarettes going to school, and people would be like, "You smell like cigarettes," and she would close the windows and not let me like roll the windows down while she smoked in the car, and I like had asthma. And I'd be like, "I'm dying," and she'd be like, "I don't give a fuck. My car, my rules." And so when I got a car, I remember one time she's like, "Can we stop and go get a pack of cigarettes?" And I went, "No, my car, my fucking rules."
Damn.
And then she brought her own and she was like, "Can I smoke in here?" And I was like, "No.
Do I need to repeat myself?
My car, my fucking rules." And my mom looked at me and she was like, "You fucking lucky." But she got it.
Yeah, you're lucky I used that against you and now I can't say shit. That's what
she
she
was
meant.
like, "Oh, she learned my tricks."
You got to be careful as a parent, dude. You do, because they'll learn. They'll learn. My daughter called me a narcissist recently.
Ooh.
Yeah. She heard that from her mother. 100%.
Of course.
She heard it from her mama. But yeah, I got called a narcissist and I had to defend myself. And I had to explain to my child what CPTSD was. And I had to go through and tell her like a lot of the stuff that happened to me as a kid. And I had to be like, "Hey, listen, I need you to understand. I was, you're 16. I can tell you some of this stuff now. I was sexually, I had stepfathers do horrible things to me. I
didn't know that. I made the molestation joke and just had no idea.
No, it's okay. There's different forms of molestation, right? So I was watched masturbate.
Ooh.
And he would take the doorknobs off the doors in our rooms when I was a teenager. And I have vivid memories of looking up mid-stroke in the bathtub, which was my jack zone.
Interesting.
And because the shower didn't work, so we had to use the bath, and bath's the only place splashy. Anyway,
I'm getting a full picture here.
I would look up over the edge of the tub, and I remember seeing his eye in the eye of the doorknob, like where the doorknob's supposed to be watching me. And then he would also shake his dick at us all the time. He would pull out his dick and shake it at me and my brother all the time. And then he would strip me and my brother butt naked during punishments. And so but for a long time, I did not identify that as molestation, right?
You're making me wonder if I was molested in more ways than I thought I already was.
But being voyeured, being watched against your will is molestation as a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And so
It's definitely harassment.
so I'm
When I
having
became a Jew, they strip you naked and they dip you in a pool naked. And I was like maybe like 8. So that's like crazy. My dad had to dip me in a pool with a bunch of rabbis looking over me. And it's just me and a bunch of men. And I was like 8 years old.
that's
And that's how I converted to Judaism. It was a horrible experience.
Is that normal?
I think that's normal.
Any of our
getting dipped.
Jewish
Getting
listeners.
dipped?
Yeah, it's called getting dipped.
Yeah,
like a
getting
baptism.
Is it men and women, or
I think it's. I don't know.
Getting dipped Judaism?
I have a picture of me as a kid getting dipped naked with my dad in a pool. So it
it's almost like getting baptized?
yeah, but they make you get naked. I got ass naked. It was so uncomfortable, and you just like walk naked. It's very weird.
That is weird.
And that always made me feel very because my mom was very open about getting molested if you're a kid and like what like pedophiles look like and what to watch out. So I almost like learned about it at such a young age, which I was appreciative of, but also it kind of does it sexualizes you in a way when you don't want to be. Like I shouldn't have to know about that stuff.
Yeah.
And so then now I'm thinking it's weird. Instead of me just being like, oh, I'm getting dipped as a kid and I'm becoming a Jew, I'm like, these grown men are looking at my body, you know?
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah, that's terrifying.
mikvah? Is that what it's called? Does that make sense to
Yeah, I think
the immersion of vessels, immersion of the mikvah. That's what's coming up.
Is that for women though on their periods?
I think so. It says
it's
like a total
Orthodox
of 3 times.
Jews. Women like go away for a week and I don't know.
I typed in getting dipped Jewish. So that might not be the best
converting
prompt.
to Judaism dipped naked.
And yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yes, got it. So it says it is necessary to dip naked so that every part of the body comes into contact with water. However, women are allowed to enter the mikveh in a special spacious robe that does not obstruct the water. The ritual takes place during the day under supervision of rabbis.
Yeah, no, they didn't give me any fucking robe or anything. Or a bathing suit.
okay. I think maybe they did it wrong.
I think possibly, yeah.
Yeah, or maybe there are people who are pedophiles.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was
Attached
your dad.
to-
Maybe it was your dad.
Maybe
Attached to
I was
very established,
a part of a pedophile cult, and I'm just learning
churches.
about it.
Yeah.
But it also could be your dad, knowing the guy your dad ended up being. You know what I mean? Like your dad just like, hey, you're supposed to bring a swimsuit. He's like, fuck it, just send it in naked.
Yeah, I have this new joke I'm working on, like kind of along these lines, where I go, when I was 13, I found out my dad wasn't my biological father. Makes all his kisses feel weird.
Yeah.
And like that part has been popping. I don't know what the rest is going to be yet of the joke, but there is this idea where I'm like looking back of like, you have realizations about your childhood as an adult where you're like, I didn't think this was weird. And now I'm looking back and I'm like, that was fucking weird.
That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. And he still sleeps in my bed.
Yeah. I'm calling him daddy. I'm
Yeah.
sitting on his back, kissing him.
And not dad.
It's just a random 35-year-old man who's like, you're mine now.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, hey,
and my mom's like, there's a roof over your head. Be fucking grateful.
hey, don't yuck my yum.
Yeah. Fuck you.
You know how bad I want a 35-year-old man? Hey, I'm your dad now.
Do you know how bad I want a 35-year-old man to be like, I'm your dad now? I've just been waiting.
Oh, man. So, yeah, to get back to it, I had to explain, right? I had to be like, I went through all this, very traumatic things growing up. I have PTSD from it. When I'm acting in a certain way like this, I'm not being narcissistic. I'm asking for boundaries, and I'm getting upset because those boundaries and those needs aren't being met. And so when we finally got through the conversation, I think it ended in a great place, and she understood, exactly where I was coming from. And I think she had more clarity and more insight as to, what I went through growing up.
Yeah. And that's good that you shared that with her.
It's tough.
Because kids are smart. We pick up on shit that our parents like think we don't. And it's, I like, especially kids of divorce or like when their parents are separated, there's such a play on the other parent is the bad guy.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
And then I feel like there's a coming of age thing that happens where even if it's like, it doesn't fully, you just start to learn more about that your parents are people, and then you have more perspective over it. And then it's like, in some situations there is like a very clear bad guy. There are those times. And then there's other times where it's like, well, life's just a complicated, messy world. People make decisions. They're not always the best ones. And then people have to live with those,
Yeah, there's things that I was exposed to, and there were things that were exposed to me.
Right.
And there's
and
a
that
difference.
was cock.
That was cock. It was healthy.
Sorry, I'm so
That
sorry.
was
No,
cock.
that was a healthy cock too. If we're gonna be honest, I mean, I could draw it from memory.
I was telling you rape jokes earlier.
I know.
He's white knuckling.
It's funny how
And
humor
that's why
can.
I'm a comedian.
Yeah, it's funny how humor can help you process pain. It's funny. I was reading something recently, and it's about just anger and how anger is a poor replacement for grief.
Yep.
And I feel like humor can be the same way, where it's like humor can be a replacement for grief just as easily as anger can.
Yes. I have difficulty getting the funny right away.
Mm.
Like some people can get upset and like, do you know what I mean? Like
Me too.
And get right on stage and speak their piece, and I cannot. I have to process it first, and then I can go on stage with what I process. But I can't like process on stage, or you're gonna like watch me crash out and go viral for bombing.
Sometimes if I write it out, I overthink it. If I just go up with it, and it's more organic, and I'm more in the moment, and then I can riff more, and then I can have a little more fun, because I'll be strict to what I wrote.
I couldn't after the breakup and like all the stuff that's happened this year and car accidents. Everyone's like, get on stage and talk about it. I couldn't. There was nothing. I could not find the funny.
It was still too close.
It was still too close to me,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm gonna just get up and start talking shit about people and like saying shit I'm gonna regret. And I can't really, if I dated a comic, I can't really go on stage and be like, this piece of shit, and it's all of his friends.
Yeah.
Even though that's how I would cope naturally.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I've had some weird disconnect there, but
Yeah, unless it's finding a way to turn your story into all new characters, where it's like, oh, this is inspired off of my life, but everyone's fake,
yeah, but I do that, and I'll like talk about stuff on my stories when I talk about mental health and stuff, and I'm like ranting, and I'm like, oh, I'll be quick to cut people off with bad character, and then I'll like give an example, and people will be like, she's talking about me. And I probably am, but
Yeah.
If you think it's about you, most of the time, it is.
It's about all of you.
What's it going to be like if Miss Kelly gets mad at me?
You're gonna get lots of drunk phone calls.
Okay.
And text messages. Shall we read? Before she's like, I love you. It's like a couple months, it's like, I love you. And then it's a couple months. She hates when I go on podcasts and she says I embarrass her by talking about this stuff. But
I wonder
you're
which
fucked
one
up and need help.
Oh.
Where is it? Oh, God.
Jesus.
Oh, wow.
A lot of white.
Yeah, there's so much. I don't even know. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, you won't even know because she does text to talk, so there's no punctuation. So that is literally all just one sentence.
She's just ranting.
Yeah.
I have to get you to pull them up. But last time you were on, after the pod, you sent me a bunch of stuff about your dad.
Yeah.
That we talked about on the pod, but like it was all like verified. And it's not that I didn't believe you. I believed you 100%.
I think a lot of people like they'll believe me, but they don't like. It doesn't seem as real until you
It's
see
different
like
when you see it.
when
right?
you see like actual like
Yeah, we
the
see your dad in
police
fucking
and court.
handcuffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane. Like there's pictures of him being led,
You're talking about like the level that
There's like multiple
Your dad
different
got-
articles, and one article's just about my sister overdosing. It's like Eric Simmons, named in this case for being a drug lord, just lost his daughter to a drug overdose, and it's just that's all the article is about.
Mhm.
Well, they
So,
literally in the
my
article.
whole family stuff was in the paper.
In the article, they called him a kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I tell people he was a drug lord. He
Yeah.
was the king of a prescription drug ring, and everyone's like, okay. And I'm like, no, he was.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think they understand what that means.
Yeah.
You know,
Also,
there's-
if you guys are confused about this, it's episode 7. Go back and see Jamie's first episode. We talk all about it.
yeah, we talk all about it in episode
Yep.
7. This is episode 51.
Yeah, I guess for the
Yeah.
new people, like long story short, my dad was rich Jewish guy, got addicted to his back pain medication, got addicted to perks, oxys, turned to heroin, and leave it to a Jewish guy on heroin to start a drug business.
Yeah.
So he got real good at that and became a kingpin of a prescription drug business and then went to prison for it. And it's my whole life has been publicized in the papers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Episode 53, actually, John. Anyway.
that's episode 53?
It is episode 53.
Oh, wow. It's episode 53.
So I don't know remind me, is your father still alive? Is he still around?
he passed away in January 13th, 2016.
Okay.
So it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
And was he,
R.I.P.
and just for recap, did he end up doing jail time for the last part of his life?
He did, yeah. He got out on good behavior.
Oh, he did?
Mhm.
How long
How
was
long was he out before he died?
I think it was less than a year.
Mm.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
see him in that time, or was it all?
He tried. My brother and
Yeah.
sister became friends, became friends with him again. Like, we're talking to him, and I just was so angry. And I was like, no, you've ruined my life. And I was like, if you
Yeah.
want to be back in my life, pay me. Money talks.
Yeah.
You want me to talk? Pay up.
Yeah.
And
I know you got it in a hole
and
somewhere.
he did. He gave me $600 a month for my first semester of senior year of college. And then, so we were starting to talk, and he called me one day. It was January 12th. And he was like, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but I have to get back on pain meds.
Mm.
I hurt my back again. All I know is construction, and they're prescribing me pain meds. And when you're so deep into drug abuse, you don't realize people can see through your lies and manipulation and bullshit. You get really bad at it. And I was like, fuck you. No one's prescribing an ex-drug lord prescription drugs.
Yeah.
I know you're not.
You're on a list, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not getting prescriptions. You're doing drugs again. And I flipped out on him. I was like, fuck you. I fucking hate you. How dare you do this to this, my brother and sister again and me?
Yeah.
Fuck you. And I hung up, and they found him dead in the morning.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
That one sat with me for a long time.
Yeah, how could it not?
Yeah.
I blamed myself, and then I was like, wow, that's the last combo. It makes you think when you flip out on somebody, you know?
Yeah.
But also it was I was right.
Yeah.
But he overdosed, and he did drugs with my cousin and his girlfriend at the time, and they were also on drugs, and so they went upstairs and just left him and didn't call the ambulance
That night.
because they didn't want to get in trouble.
So he overdosed.
So he overdosed.
No shit.
My thing is, his family was really rich, and how did they all build houses after my grandpa died when they're teachers? So I think there's an inheritance there, and I'm almost wondering if my dad's gone, that means that portion of the inheritance doesn't have to go to us, or
Yeah.
How the will's written.
I think there's something deeper there, and I hope a lawyer is watching.
Mm-hmm. Any lawyers out
You
there,
have a
hit us
lawyer.
up.
I know.
You have a lawyer.
I have a lawyer. Josh.
You got a good lawyer. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
We need a lawyer.
It is so cool being as an adult, you're like, oh, let me call my lawyer.
I hate to tell you this. We have the same lawyer.
Oh, okay, cool. Hey, Josh.
I've called Josh for my stuff too. When I got my ticket, I got in that accident. I called Josh and was,
Mhm.
can you get me out of this? The answer
Yeah.
was no.
Oh,
I paid $250. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, I didn't want to pay that though. It was Christmas time.
Yeah.
yeah. What were dinners like? Was there set like parameters for dinner? Like set like we eat at 5:30, or was it like
Could Miss Kelly cook?
the opposite of that? It was just kind of fend for yourself, or in the middle.
God, no. My mom could not cook. Like, no seasoning. Her favorite thing to cook was like chicken, mashed potatoes, and like canned corn, or like make corn.
Yeah.
And that was my favorite. And she made lasagna very good. But that was all we ate. I ate like cereal and fended for myself. There was a lot of times because when my dad left when I was 10. I caught him cheating on my mom by hacking his AOL email and found all of his like affair emails. And I told my mom, and he left that day. And then my mom, like, the rug's ripped out from underneath her. She's been married for 13 years, single mom, no schooling. He's like, rich guy saved her from like being poor.
Yeah.
And like gave her a beautiful life. And then all of a sudden he like goes.
Right.
So my mom became super depressed, didn't leave the couch for a long time. And like when she did leave the couch, she drank. And when she drank, it was like all the emotions came out and was directed towards us as kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like most of middle school, she was still kind of there and still like a mom and doing stuff, but it got like progressively worse. Come like 8th grade and high school, I was like stealing food from Walmart or like stealing toothpaste. So that, like she would forget the bare necessities, or she would like use those things to control us. Like not buy us tampons or like things like that.
Well,
like
shit, yeah.
Weird like control things. And she'd be like, we have no money, but then like would be drinking or at the bar. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom would do that with her health, where she would be like migraines, bedridden, and then she would meet a new man and you would look and she'd be in Cabo. You know what I mean? And it's like, I just took care of you for 2 months. You know, I brought you Subway home every night from work.
Yeah,
because you couldn't cook.
The heat's good for me, John.
Yeah, and next thing I know, she's drinking tequila on a beach in Cabo, and I'm like, "What's real?" You know what I mean? Is any of this real? Like, it fucks with you.
Yeah, it was pretty much raise myself and raise my siblings, and we all kind of did fend for ourselves a little bit. You know, I can't fully raise them. Like, I put myself through school and got a free ride into college so that I could get out and try to make something for myself. But my mom also got that free ride taken away.
Wait, I don't know this story.
My senior year going into college or whatever, I got a notice that they took away $60,000. That's how much 1 year at UVM costs.
Jesus.
And I had like a full scholarship ride and like some financial aid, but it was mostly scholarship, but maybe like 10 grand a year in financial aid. And they took away, they were like, you're going to owe us like 30 grand if you want to finish school or something, or 60 grand. And you have until August. And that's why I also made my dad pay for the rent. It was like at the same period of time. But my mom got a government job, like installing traffic lights. And you make like $56 an hour doing that.
Yeah.
So before on paper, my mom made like $17K a year. And now my mom's making government money. And I was like, you can't claim me on your taxes. I've been independent for so long.
Yeah.
And they're going to take away all my financial aid. Like I have to claim myself as a dependent this year so that it shows I don't have any money so I can keep my financial aid. And my mom was like, fuck you. Like she just wanted what did she get? An extra $500 for fucking claiming me, and said, fuck you. And then that's when I got, the school took away the 60 grand. I got the letter. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This happened. And so I reported my mom to the IRS, wrote a letter saying she's not allowed to claim me and all this stuff. They did nothing, obviously.
Of course.
And I always like, I didn't know what I was going to do. So I worked multiple jobs, and the rent, my dad helping with rent helped. So I was able to kind of like buy all my own books, just like hustling. And then he died. So when he died, my first worry wasn't that my dad just died. It was like, fuck, how am I going to pay to live?
How am I going to live? Yeah.
Like I was so upset. So I was already a month out of my last semester of school. I was like, there's no way I'm not going to fucking graduate because my dad just died and I couldn't afford my books and I didn't have any financial aid. It was like I was going to owe like 10 grand. I'd have to pay it up front to go back. And I remember I went to school on a megabus. I used to take myself with the trash bags in a megabus. I'd take like a train 2 town buses to get to the megabus and then take a megabus across state lines.
Mhm.
And I went there and I sat in the financial aid office and I was like, when you have nothing else to lose, and this woman like walks into the financial aid office and she is like talking about something that happened over the weekend on a girls trip. And she's like, I was sitting with all these ladies in the hot tub and we're all in our 50s. And this one girl's like, you must be in your 60s, right? Like just like annoying lady bullshit and like kind of like shitting on this woman. But this woman was beautiful. Like she was like a beautiful older lady. And so I was like just so annoyed. And I go, excuse me. And I was like, that lady can go fuck herself. You're one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. Like, don't let anyone tell you different, blah, blah, blah. Like, whatever. I was like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but like that story just pissed me the fuck off because you're gorgeous.
Honey.
Yeah.
she
And
throws
then
the
she's
honey.
like, oh, thanks. And then like, whatever. I get called into the office and the first lady's like, all right, what's up? And I'm telling her the story and I'm like, all right, well, it says your dad here is like missing in action. And I was like, no, he just died. That's why I'm here. And she was like, you don't tell me that. And I was like, why? She was like, you'll actually get more money taken away from you if he's dead versus just a missing person.
I don't know where he is.
And I was like, I have no idea where my dad is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's on the run.
I haven't seen that dude in forever.
No.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so she's like, I don't know if there's anything else. I can probably add some here for subsidized, but we're still missing all of this. And I was like, what can we do? She's like, there's one more person I can talk to. Come with me. And she talks to a lady and I'm waiting outside. And she's like, all right, come in. And it's the woman that I complimented in the front. And she was like, oh, it's her? Come on in. She gets all of my financial aid covered,
Let's
maxed
go.
everything out, gives me $3,000 in cash to take out of the ATM immediately to go buy my books and like took care of it. And I was able to graduate.
Hell yeah. Let's go, honey.
Fucking
You're beautiful.
Earth
You're
angel.
beautiful.
Earth Angel.
Yep. Something told me to talk to her and say it. And then she helped me. And it was just like, I remember sitting in the financial aid office, like crying and being like, you just saved my life.
Wow. Let's go. Shout out to her.
Here's the thing. Let that be a lesson
Yeah.
to everybody that ever watches this podcast.
Yeah.
One kind moment can literally change the trajectory of someone's fucking life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Imagine if she hadn't been that kind and stuff gets more difficult.
Mhm.
You're stressed. Who knows where the fuck that leads?
Mm-hmm. But also imagine me being at my lowest when I can turn that into fuck everyone and I hate people.
Yeah, and you're
the
being
energy
complimented.
you put out into the world really does come back to you. Like
Yeah.
in my
Absolutely.
lowest moment, I still chose to give and give back. And I've taken that lesson. Because when you watch like miracles like that happen in life, you're like,
Yeah.
I'm believing in that.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm slowly getting more and more in line with like karma, some of those things. Like in general, even if remove karma, just the idea of like energy, like putting out good energy, exactly like you said, I think that good things should happen to you. You know, there's nothing certain, but I think you increase your percentages of good things happening to you by being a good person,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And that's nice. I don't know if that's me being like, just like, oh, boy, I hope it's like that, you know?
No, it's true because when
Which I always thought that way for a long time. I'm like, that's all bullshit. But-
it's very true because when I'm going through stuff, I stopped like when people are like, hey, how are you doing? I'm like, fucking terrible. And when I broke my like negative mindset
Yep.
years ago, I had to change all of that. And I found myself getting back into it. And I just had the sexual assault. I just got an MRI. I'm like, went through a breakup. All this stuff's happening at once. And I'm in the Uber and I'm so miserable from my MRI. And something in my I was like, you have to talk to this Uber driver. And I did not want to talk to anyone. I was kind of like rude to everybody. And then everybody was so nice to me back where they like changed my day. So I had already had a couple of experiences where like, you have to be nice to this Uber driver and like talk and like just have a conversation. And I started talking to him. Turns out he's former EMT and has dealt with concussion. So he's like talking about my whole experience. Like it was the most validating thing because he was like saying my experience without me explaining it. And he like knew it. And I was like, I've been trying to get everyone to understand what I'm going through. And then there was this one moment and he was like, is the temperature all right, Angel? You good back there, Angel? And he called me Angel.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you're the angel.
Yeah.
Like I needed you today. And no one ever calls me Angel. It was so weird. And I was just like, I literally just, I was like, I really needed you as my Uber driver today. Thank you. And I started crying. But I was like, he doesn't even realize I tried really hard to like put good energy out there. And just like in a couple of a small conversation, it like changed the trajectory of my day, which I'm sure me being like, hey, I needed you to be my Uber driver today. He could be going through something today too. And I had no idea, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I love that. I've had that experience. I had a crazy travel experience one time where I ended up getting deplaned in Houston, had to spend the night there because there was, rain in Austin. And then I get a taxi driver that literally pretty much cusses me out. And then I land in Austin the next day, and my Lyft driver is in a solid white, like Sunday suit. And he's got the hat on, black dude. And he is what I would literally classify as an earth angel. He was the kindest, sweetest man I've ever met. He was like, my car is your car. You want a song? I'll play the song. If you want it colder, I'll make it colder. If you want to stop somewhere, we'll stop. He goes, whatever I need to do to make your day better, I'm here for it. And I'm like, buddy, you've already done it.
Yeah, just asking and saying it.
Absolutely.
That shows how devoid we are of that in our society nowadays, by the way. It's so sad.
It is.
Yeah.
That used to be the norm.
Yeah, it did.
And a little bit behind the curtain, I'm 100% disabled through the VA. So I have a spinal cord injury, and I'm 100% disabled. Well, the other day, I had a hard call with the VA. They have been overpaying me for roughly 8 years. I never submitted my divorce paperwork. I submitted it to DEERS to get out of DEERS, but I never submitted it to the VA.
Yeah.
So I've been getting around, 180 to $200 a month for the past 8 or 9 years since I've been divorced.
Ooh, fuck.
So I've got to pay all that back. I was talking to a lady on the phone, and she was not an earth angel. She's literally screaming at me. And she's like, you got to pay this back to the VA. They're going to take that money, and you're going to have to deal with it. And then just the VA employees talking to me like this. And I reached a point where I was like, hey, ma'am, I'm like, if I sound stressed, I apologize. I just found out something that's extremely stressful. You told me that I've got to pay you guys roughly $12,000. And as you know, I'm on a fixed income through the VA, and I work as a comic. I make money, but $12,000 is $12,000. You know what I mean? So if I'm stressed, I apologize. But there's no reason for you to talk to me like this.
Yeah.
And she immediately changed. And she was like, okay, you're right. Let me rethink. This is stressful for you. And I didn't even think about that. And so let me readdress it. And she got calm. She got soft. The conversation completely changed. And I was proud of myself because I have been the guy that's been talked to bad by women a lot of times in my life. I've allowed it, because I think I deserved it for whatever reason. But at this moment, I knew there was nothing about that I deserved. I knew that I was only stressed because I'd found out about a stressful situation.
Yep.
And so I didn't have any malice towards her. I just wanted understanding. And she gave it. And it was a cool thing.
Yeah.
And I left that conversation being like, okay, you can change people if you just communicate. You just have to communicate.
Yeah.
Did she knock off a couple of those zeros or?
No.
and I will say the best way to if you're trying to talk to your parents more and better and have actual real conversations with them, practicing with strangers is how I was able to do it.
Yeah.
Practicing in those moments where it is high intensity and you do want to get pissed at somebody because they cut you off. Those little things, if you can handle it outside of your parents' traumas and triggers, then it makes it easier to handle your parents and have that kind of conversation and meet them with the same energy.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's not hard. They say kindness is free. It is free. But that doesn't mean it's cheap. And I think that cheap kindness, there's a difference between niceness and kindness. I've been around a lot of people that are nice, but they're not kind. And I've been around people that are kind.
I'm kind and not nice.
Exactly. I'm kind. I'm compassionate. I'm considerate. All those things. But I'm also an asshole. And I'm blunt. And I'm trying to be honest about things, even if it hurts your feelings. And unapologetically honest. I try to be. Even when it defames myself and hurts me, I'll still be honest about it. So, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but that's where I went.
Hey, I mean, sorry about that VA news, but hey, at least there's some angels working over at the VA now. That's nice. And, also, I think a takeaway from that too is like we said, like your energy, even like in a situation exactly like that.
Yeah.
Being able to like control yourself a little bit and like, you know, literally use some of those lessons that I feel like you learned in like kindergarten of like just like being kind and nice and some of those things, and being able to put that energy on like someone who's being really hostile to you really can like, you know, one, it'll either do exactly what it did for you. It'll change that person, be like, I am being the fucking asshole.
It disarms them. Too.
Or if they double down on it, then you know for sure you took the high road and you're like, okay, I just need to completely be away from this person. Because if they don't reciprocate that with the same thing, then it's like, okay, you don't belong in my sphere right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in order to fully understand health, you have to understand flaws.
Yeah. But it takes, you know, like self-restraint on yourself, you know, because it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Because whenever someone starts coming at you, you don't know, and you're not ready for it. Yeah.
Did you want to get into my dad? I feel like I've derailed the conversation so many times.
No, not at all.
You like asked me questions where we brought up like the stuff in the papers.
But this is also kind of what we do.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't
you're all
derail
good.
it.
But yeah,
especially me and you. Like we'll sit there and we're talking. It'll be
we could go on tangent. We could do this podcast for a full 24 hours. I think
probably never stop talking.
Yeah.
There's certain people like that, and you're one of them with me. Where I'm like, I feel completely comfortable being vulnerable, and it's a hard thing for me to trust people with my vulnerability. And I've worked on it in therapy. And it's not something that people like men to say, especially men with beards. Okay? Nobody wants to hear a man with a beard say, I appreciate you allowing me to be vulnerable. Okay?
I like it.
It's not something that anybody looks for. But it's something that I want to do because, I mean, it you know, anybody that can create a fucking safe space for you should be important to you.
Yeah.
And I believe that. And so like when it comes to talking to you, I've always felt comfortable and safe. And I think that's one of the reasons that we can go. Because like, I'm never going to judge you.
I think we met and became friends from me having to be like super vulnerable because I was having like a panic attack.
Yeah.
And you like calmed me down from it.
And I calmed you down by also being vulnerable by telling you about shit about me. And because sometimes it's my ADHD. Like I don't mean to do it. Like people think I'm making the conversation about me, but in actuality, I'm just trying to relate.
That's me too. Yeah. And I'm like, I know. I thought I had an experience that could build on this.
Yes.
To like
and
give
we can
you
talk about our
insight.
shared experience.
Yeah. Some people don't like that. I'm like, no, talk about yourself. That's what a conversation is.
Yes.
Neurotypical people just want to talk about themselves. And it's like, no, the whole point of me talking about me is so that you start talking about, you feel comfortable to talk about you, right?
Yeah, I thought so. But in actuality, it's not like that. It's really not with some people where like, you're oversharing. Well, I'm like, yeah, but I did it so you would do it.
Yeah, podcasting was definitely created by somebody with ADHD.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
I don't know who created it, but I imagine it was
sponsored by Neurogum.
Yeah.
It was Daddy Joe. He did it.
Do you want to get more into with your dad in the papers? Because I'm not familiar with this.
I sent them to you.
You did?
Yeah, I sent you all
That
the
was also
articles.
a long
But
time ago.
granted, it was 8 months ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
You could Google it.
You just Google Eric Simmons Hall Mass.
And it comes
with
up.
a C, Eric with a C.
I've looked it up myself. I definitely was intrigued after the first time, and I did a deep dive.
Yeah, every time I applied for a corporate America job and they Googled me, one of the first things was an article of me in the paper talking about my experience with my dad, and it got brought up on multiple interviews.
Mm.
Yeah, I did a deep dive. I even found some of his mugshots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's legit.
Yeah, when he died, my sister made us t-shirts with his mugshot on it. The front is just a big mugshot of him. He looks like Danny Trejo or whatever.
Or Danny Trejo?
Trejo, yeah. And the back says Free Eric. And so I got invited to New York Fashion Week, and I walked in New York Fashion Week.
That's amazing.
For like a bikini company, yeah. And I wore the shirt my sister made with my dead dad's mugshot on it.
Yeah.
And I took photos in front of all the New York Fashion Week banners with like flipping it off and posted it on my Facebook to be like, fuck everyone in my hometown. I'm walking in New York Fashion Week, bitch. And y'all talk shit because my daddy was a drug lord. Like, you didn't think I'd make it here.
Yeah, that's dope. I love that.
They rounded up 60 people. 60 people all tied to like that one operation.
Yeah, basically my dad stole a prescription pad from a hospital, him and his wife.
As you do.
And they were
Yeah.
writing fake scripts for perks and oxys. And
Right.
so the 60 people were people who were routinely going into the pharmacies, cashing them in.
Yeah.
And they caught them at the pharmacy. So they caught all the people below my dad. And for a while, everyone was like, it's Eric Simmons. He's the one. But there was no proof that my dad was doing this. So it was all like hearsay, essentially.
Yeah.
And so the day that the 60 people got arrested was a Thursday, right? I think it was Thursday. It was like December something. And it was a lot of people in my town. My town is a small 7-mile long peninsula. And I had like 76 kids in my grade, very small. And so my brother and sister had friends whose parents were held at gunpoint because everyone got swatted. And SWAT team busts down the door, holds a parent at gunpoint, arrests the parents in front of the kids. This is happening in a very small town. My dad's the reason this is happening to all these families at 5 in the morning before a school day. Everyone goes to school and their parents just got arrested because of my dad. So me, my brother and sister are kind of all simultaneously experiencing like the hate.
How old are you at this point?
I was, I think, a junior in high school.
Okay.
So my sister would have been 8th grade.
Okay.
And my brother would have been 7th.
Yeah, it's like
So you go to
16.
school and you're seeing kids, right? And
Or
like,
6th and 7th grade.
and you're seeing kids, and their parents were literally SWAT teamed that morning. What's that interaction like?
It was horrible. I got bullied severely by like the adults in my hometown.
I was going to say, because they all knew. They all know.
So get this, I sang the national anthem at the football games. High school football's Friday. So this happens on a Thursday. Guess who's singing the national anthem for the whole town the next day?
God.
Me. And when I walked to that football field, when I tell you it was dead silent, parents spit at me. I had people walking by spitting at me. People like saying things under their breath. No one would look at me.
Oh
and I
my
had to
God.
get out in front of my whole fucking hometown and sing the national anthem. And they'd like announce my name. And it was like soul crushing. I remembered being like, I was like, not only am I getting beaten at home by my like drunk mom, and I'm getting bullied in my own grade for whatever. Now I'm getting bullied by the adults, and I'm a kid and I'm completely isolated. So, and experiencing that, and everything's in the public for the paper to talk about. So it's like almost like what I think what a comedian would experience, like mass cancellation. That's kind of what it felt like, but as a kid in my hometown.
Wow.
My grip on my microphone got tighter the more you talked. You know what I mean? It was really
I
like,
have so much lore. Like, I am surprised I haven't killed myself. I'm dead serious.
like I was starting to get angry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
And
just-
no one protected me, not a single adult. No one had my back.
we are not the sins of our parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
People weren't allowed to hang out with me. My
Yeah.
birthday party started like people weren't allowed to come to my house because they were my parents.
it's brutal.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. Whereas like a lot of the people who you were feeling the most hate from, I'm assuming were the people that were involved with that, or just people in the community. It was
Just
just
the community.
bad blood. It's like, stay away from,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. My mom's the town drunk, beating up people's moms at the bar.
Right.
I came to school and one girl was like, your mom punched my mom in the face last night. And I was like, did she deserve it?
Yep.
You know, she probably deserved it. You're a cunt too. But yeah, I got it
They
on
didn't
all
like you?
levels.
I mean, I don't think I've heard of it.
And I was third in my high school until my senior year. Like third in my grade, so I was like top of my class, fucking vice president of the National Honor Society. I was in varsity sports, theater. I was in multiple student after school clubs. I was in like the Project Humanitarian Involvement. I raised $3,000 while this was all happening by cold calling, like knocking on doors and asking for money in 2 weeks to go on a trip to El Salvador to build houses. I was like the poster child, and I was straight edge and a virgin. I was the poster child of what a good kid was, and adults were like, you can't hang out with her. She's a slut and she's a bad kid. I got the amount of times I've been called a whore and a slut by adults as a kid when I was like the complete opposite prude. People thought I would go into, people would be like, she's going to be a porn star one day and all this stuff. They would say that shit. So finally I was like, fuck you. I might as well make money off all this shit that you're doing. And then I hopped on OnlyFans. But whatever. But like, that's what happens when you bully kids and call them whores and sluts at age 13 or whatever because you don't like their parents. It has an impact.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
It makes you not trust anybody. Like the level of like
Well, how
hyper
could you?
independence and hyper vigilance I have to like go through the world is like,
How could you trust a society that has turned on you?
Yeah.
For something that you didn't do?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like purely like generational curse.
You didn't ask for.
Yeah.
Jamie, you didn't ask for any of that.
No, I know.
You didn't ask for your father to be who he was. He just was.
Yeah.
You know, and people are people, and parents are people, and you should never have been punished, you know, for him and for what he did. But that's not the way the world works, and it sucks.
Yeah.
It's like everybody looked at you like you were him, and you weren't.
Yeah.
You know, and don't ever.
It didn't
think
matter what I did, how
But-
much I tried to convince people that I was like good. It did not matter. It was like a stain on me.
Yeah.
That's why I like escaped my hometown. I was like, none of you see me for me. You know, this is not a healthy place for me to be.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, was there ever like anybody that like singled you out like an adult when you were 13, 14 that like had like a violent interaction with you or like yelled at you or?
God. Probably. It's more like verbal, I guess.
Yeah.
It was more like an insidious like shit talking. Like it's weird when you're like you ask people to hang out and you don't know why they like won't hang out with you. No one's like telling you and everyone knows but you. So there was it was more like psychologically damaging. My mom beat the shit out of me a lot, you know. So probably just her, but
What about the school? Like, how was the school dealing with this? Were you catching shit from teachers? I mean, did teachers like not fuck with you the same way?
Teachers loved me.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like teacher's pet.
You know what's crazy is you can say
But I got in trouble a lot when middle school while it was happening. I got suspended. I've been suspended, and I wrote I have a song about. I've been writing parodies since 5th grade, dude. I wrote a song, Elmo's Got a Gun, and I just happened to say one of the kids in my class had a gun, and we were shooting up a teacher, and it happened right after Columbine. So I got suspended for that.
Oh wow!
And I was like, well, they were like, she's angry. Her dad just left, and I was a troubled kid. If a teacher tried to tell me what to do, I had a very big problem with authority, but I was a straight A student, so they didn't know what to do with me. I was getting perfect like hundreds on tests, I was supposed to skip multiple grades. I was supposed to skip 3 grades. I was put in like advanced classes. I was definitely in like the GATE program or whatever. I was like, my mom wouldn't let me skip, but so teachers loved me, and I think that's why I poured everything into school.
Why wouldn't she let you skip?
She didn't want me to be that young around kids fucking and drinking.
Yeah, it seems like that's just like the MO of your...
Everything was about like protecting me from being molested, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, I want to say this because I think it's really important. You can say an entire paragraph of hate in 4 words, and I dealt with it growing up. But literally, all somebody had to say is, "That's Eric Simmons' daughter."
Yep. Oh, that's Kelly Simmons' daughter.
Yeah.
And my mom's nickname was Crazy Kelly in town. So be like, I literally got out of a DUI with that exact statement.
I talk about it. I talked about it on stage before, and your parents' reputation is your social currency in small towns.
It is.
It really is. It's like if your parents have a great reputation, then you have a strong social currency.
Even if you're a shitbag.
Even if you're a shitbag. Right?
People are like, will praise you and you can hang out with them. And all. The kids it was so funny because the parents who told them they couldn't hang out with me, I'm like, your kid is doing drugs. I just watched him pop a perk and put it into the fucking blunt he's rolling.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what a dick looks like. What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
I know.
Like...
Yeah, it's fucking insane. I'm Tammy's son, so believe me. You know, I've been places where they're like, "Hey, don't let him drink. He'll probably fuck your dad." You know what I mean? Because that's Tammy's kid. And
we're not allowed to drink. Even my family members. I remember one of my family members said this about my sister, and I was like, wouldn't let my sister drink at her wedding. And it was like, she was like, and like would constantly talk down to us like we were like our mom, like we're the bad kids. Like even my aunts and uncles would be like, they're going to be pregnant first. Can't wait till you guys are all pregnant first. And it's like, well, guess what? None of us got pregnant.
Yeah.
None of us did as bad as you. Like, my aunts and uncles labeled. I wasn't allowed to hang out with one of my cousins because we were labeled as bad kids just from being my parents' kids.
Yeah. I mean,
so I got isolated even by my own family, and my aunts and uncles like try to talk to me now, and I'm like, where were you?
Yeah. Right.
my mom was banging a married prison guard named Shu, and he looked like Popeye, like a real life Popeye, and he was an amazing man. I'll give it to him. He was a cool dude, and one of my favorite of my mom's flings and boyfriends. But he was married to a woman that was extremely mentally challenged and had a lot of issues. And he would disappear on her, and he would go cheat, and he would do all the stuff, and he was with my mom in our trailer. And literally, I'm not making this up, a mob of women were outside. And it was at least I would say 10 to 12 women. I knew some of them. One of them was Rhonda, big titty Rhonda from down the street. I knew her daughter Katie. There was I knew them, and because I hung out in Yanceyville. So they knock on the door and beat on the door, and they're like, "Is Shu in there?" And his wife is sitting in the truck. You know what I mean? Outside, I can see her sitting outside waiting, and she's yelling out the window, "Is my husband in there? Is my husband in there with your mama?" And the women are looking at me, and they're like, "Is he in there? Is he in there? Is he with Tammy?" And I'm just like, "No." And they're like, "His truck's out here." And I'm like, "Yeah, I can't lie anymore." You know what I mean? That was it. That was the end of the lies right there. No? Well, his truck's out here. Well, I got nothing else. That was it.
He opens up the door. He's like, "They're in there."
I was like, "Yeah, he's
Are you sure
here.
it's not someone else's truck?
Yeah, I was like, he's fucking here." You know what I mean? There's nothing I can do about that. And so I literally had to beat on my mom's bedroom door to get him to come outside to address the mob of women that was there. And Rhonda looks at me, and as all this is happening, and she goes, "John, I want to let you know, we love you, but your mom fucking sucks." And I'm like, "Welcome to the party, Rhonda." Welcome to the fucking party. Yep. And it was the only time in my childhood where I actually felt validated, that I was a good person. Was when my mom was, wrecking a marriage, and she got called out on it by a mob of women.
Yeah, I wish adults were like that with me. There's there was a couple of solid adults, I guess, that had my back.
Yeah,
but as an overall, they didn't.
I know there was a couple that had mine too. I would run away a lot when I was 17, 18. My mom was met her other husband, and she's moving to West Virginia, and I did not want to leave North Carolina. I did not want to go move to West Virginia. And so I was rebelling. I was running away, and then I had friends. I was gonna say,
did you ever get kicked out before 18?
Oh yeah, I got kicked out a bunch. Yeah, I would sleep. I would go to the high school because we lived right by the high school. So the old gym was next to the new gym at my high school. There was this old rundown gym, and you could get into the old gym through the weight room. That door didn't lock. So I would open that door. I would literally walk to the high school, open that door, and go sleep on the weight bench, or sleep in the locker room on the benches. I did it quite a few times, and one time janitor caught me, asked me to leave and stuff like that. But she would kick me out pretty regularly, and I remember one time she kicked me out, and as she's kicking me out, a guy that she's seen is coming in. You know what I mean? So I'm leaving as he's coming in, and he's like, "What's going on, John?" And I'm like, "Good luck with her, dude." It's an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, that's so
She's yours now.
Yeah, she's your problem now. I'm going to sleep at the fucking high school.
Yeah, we would get excited when mom got a boyfriend. We're like, thank fucking God it's directed towards someone else a little more.
Oh, man. I mean, my mom would try to be nice to them. So then it would be even harder on us sometimes.
Did I tell you how I put my mom in jail?
You put her in jail?
Yeah, Halloween.
Yeah, I did talk about that last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Punch in the face, didn't you, I think?
I did.
I thought so.
She never hit me again.
Mm-hmm.
There was no steamers that day.
I saw a TikTok. There wasn't. There was not. But I saw a TikTok, and they were like, I'm pro spanking kids because I think we should, adults, our parents, when they get old, they essentially turn into babies. Yeah. So it's anyone who was spanked, we should start, let's take our parents in and we just start beating the shit out of them. You're a baby now, so I'm going to spank you. And when you do bad, you shit your pants? Whack.
Yeah.
You didn't put the milk away, Dad. Belt.
Yeah. And it's so sad, but it does put it in perspective. That's how you treated a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, right? It's hard to say that. They're like, you don't want people to be treated the way they treated their children.
I'm like, Mom, you want to be put in a nursing home. Believe me. You do not want me to take care of you.
Yeah.
Oh.
You thought my car, my rules was bad?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
right?
Wait till you hear the new bathroom rules.
Yeah.
There's a lock on the fridge now.
Wait till you hear you don't respect my house, I'm going to knock you out. That's my rule.
Which parent would you rather have defend you in court?
My dad, he was very smart.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Before it was like, my dad was super smart. Because like, when I told you I was going to skip multiple grades, I taught myself to read, write, and do math before I was in kindergarten. So I was in kindergarten, I read a full Harry Potter book. Like I was,
What the hell?
in first grade, I was writing in cursive already. Like
Oh my
I got
God.
in trouble for writing in cursive when people were learning how to write because I was like bored.
Mm-hmm. All
Um,
those kids going home. Jamie can already write in cursive. It's like, well, her mom's a bitch and her dad's a.
But my- but my-
Well, that's because she's
Dad-
got to sign those prescription notes for her dad.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
why her cursive's so good.
My dad was my dad was so
Trapped like a
great
doctor.
growing up. Like pre-10, I had a great childhood.
Yeah.
But he leaned in on teaching me how to do math. He was very smart. Like he always, I don't know. He was just like a very smart man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just training you up to become as a bookie.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
I need someone to run these numbers.
He was like raising me to like run the family business.
Yeah.
He's like, you're the son now. Like, cause it was Bill Sim and Sons, like, the masonry company. And yeah, I was my mom and my dad's prep girl on jobs. Like my dad was my baseball coach.
Mm-hmm.
I played baseball until high school. So like there was like some good things, you know, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Definitely my dad, my mom in court. We'd both be getting arrested.
They start fighting each other.
Yeah. I'd be like, all right. They'd be like, all right. And here's who's defending you, Jaime-Lee Simmons. I'd be like, fuck.
Yeah.
So hey, I want to let
You're
you
like,
know.
Just take
Objection.
me away now.
I want to let you know this bitch is guilty.
Yeah.
Like, Mom.
Like I've been trying to get her to take accountability this whole time.
Well, we got to wrap up in a minute, but you know, I don't want to close the way we closed last time because
Yeah.
it's like we've given the advice. But I want to ask this: if you could have received one thing as a child that you didn't, what would it be? Like I know you've done some trauma work. I know you've done like
I wish I just had a solid, consistent adult in my life that could talk life into me, that spoke life into me.
no, I get that.
Yeah.
I do too.
It's going to make me cry.
No, I do too. When I visited my inner child,
Yeah.
he was alone,
Yeah.
and he was
Yeah.
always alone.
Yeah. I talk to my inner child now where I'll like hug myself.
Yeah. Me
Yeah.
too. And if you know you ever went through any type of child abuse, and you know you were abused as a child, just know it's okay, and you didn't do anything wrong. It's not your fault. You have to remember that. You know everything you went through as a child is not your fault. Somebody else was in power. Somebody else had the control, and somebody else did wrong by you. You know, and you have to remember that. And so when we're talking about going back and visiting your inner child and visiting your child, you're visiting the child that was neglected by a parent. You're visiting the child that might have been abused by a parent. You're visiting, you know, even if you had a good childhood, you should go back and spend time with the child version of you because they went through things that you can only understand as an adult. You couldn't understand it as a kid. But you can understand it now. And now you can go back and you can spend time with the metaphorical child version of yourself and actually give them the love that you deserved.
Yeah, I think what that looks like too is like I'll be meditating and I'll be like, all right, I was a kid when I was, let's say the football game or whatever. I imagine me as if I was in that moment being like, hey, this is so hard and I know everyone's being really mean to you right now, but you're going to do what you came here to do and you're going to do amazing. And then you talk to yourself that way. But also I think it's super important to add on what you said, is that no one is coming to save you at the end of the day either. And so I think a lot of the times we like experience things and because I want an adult and I always wanted somebody to come and give me that advice, that I was waiting for that person to show up in my life. And the reality is they might never show up. So you have to be that person for yourself. And like just having that understanding of like, it's not your fault, but also like we're the only ones responsible for getting ourselves out of it.
Yeah. That's what do I say all the time? It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And you just summed that up beautifully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a great episode.
Great one.
I love talking to you.
Absolutely.
Jamie.
Thanks for coming back.
Fucking-
Super fun. I'll do it anytime.
Yeah.
I love talking to you. It's literally.
I give you a reoccurring character. Just like more lore comes out and you're like, what the fuck?
Your dad was a kingpin in New York too?
Yeah.
Wait till I tell you about my mom's childhood and past.
Oh God, I love that there's more.
Mm-hmm.
So much.
I love this podcast.
I was about to ask about the grandparents. We'll save it for next time.
I love this podcast. Yeah, you want to let them know where to find you?
Yeah, you can find me at the Jaime-Lee Show
That's it.
on all platforms.
The Jaime-Lee Show, everybody. You know where to find me. If you don't, go look. It's going to the John and all the good stuff.
Or in your dad's search history.
Yeah.
Or in the comment section right down below.
Thank you guys for coming in, tuning in for another episode of Tammy's Boy. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully, you leave lighter. It's heavy, but hopefully you leave lighter because it didn't happen to you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We love you so much. Keep doing what you're doing. Liking, subscribing, and sharing. And we'll keep doing what we're doing by trying to make this the best damn podcast in the whole fucking world.
Damn right.
This has been Tammy's Boy. Thank you guys for tuning in.
See ya.
Is your mama alive? Did your daddy make you cry?